and welcome to Charlotte Talks Transformers, where we'll be taking a look at Transformers Animated episode... What episode was this again? Oh. No. Like, we had such a good finale. Like, couldn't you have waited 2 more episodes for this? Like, oh man. Return of Headmaster. Guys, you know what I think of Headmaster. You know what I think of Henry fucking Masterson. Okay, he sounds like Pauly Shore, and Pauly Shore was dated even when Pauly Shore was doing it. Like, I don't know why they thought this was good. Like, ownage? Who says that? Like, I don't know, man. And then, okay, the real kicker. I'm not going to tell this in chronological order at all. I'm just going to skip ahead right to the part that fucking matters. Headmasters, what was the plot of the last episode? Henry Masterson stole Bulkhead's body, and Bulkhead spent the majority of the episode searching for his body. What do you think the plot of this episode was? Yeah.
Snakes on a plane?
It was snakes on a plane. It was, yeah, like I was completely shocked myself. I was like, oh, they went in a completely different direction. No, they didn't. Sentinel Prime lost his freaking body, and I'm like, oh my, that's what? How many body plots have we had at this point? Like 4? Like one of them spanning an entire season? You guys need help. Like, you Transformers animated people, you need help. You clearly got an issue with like bodies and heads on bodies. Like, it's just stop. Just stop right now. I won't take another episode like this. I will write angry letters. I will call people. Like, I know the show's over by now, but like, yeah, whoa, man. Like, someone clearly had a hard-on for this plot line. Either that, or in order to save on writing budget, they were just like, let's recycle the same plot, guys. But, ooh, it's just, oh my god, I can't even. It wasn't all that. The plot really kind of starts off where, if we remember from last episode, there was a big revelation about how Sari may or may not be Isaac Sumdak's daughter, but the man that sort of replaced her as, I guess, CEO of the company, or, I don't know, maybe trustee or something, I don't know. But his name is Powell, and right at the beginning of the episode, what do? They just punt Sari's ass right out of Sumdak Towers. They're like, sorry, little girl, we don't know or care where you're going. Leave your room right now, and no, you can't take any valuables with you. Those robots stay here. Like, she wanted to take her tutor bot and her little dog bot. No, they're just like, leave, and they certainly didn't call any sort of like, child protective services or any sort of, get her set up with a family maybe, or even with like, maybe relatives of Professor Sumdak or something like that. No, they just kicked her out on the street, and now she's living with the Autobots in a warehouse and sleeping in a tire. Like, how the mighty have fallen, but who does that? Like, this world has some odd logic, because I'm assuming she's a pretty high-profile person, and I'm assuming that just wouldn't stand, Like, and surely she's got some sort of, money she can fall back on. I don't know. I'm probably reading too much into this. But, yes, so this Powell guy is clearly a very large douche nozzle, and so, he hires Henry Masterson. He basically clears his name, brings him back from jail, and sets him up in Sari's bedroom. And the dude's all like, oh my god, like, sweet cribbage. And I'm just like, fucking kill me. Like, it's just awful.
I think you said it last time. It's like the worst rendition of a millennial we've ever heard.
Yeah, except for it's like every bad rendition of a millennial and like those, like the 90s sort of stoner loser kind of like Pauly Shore type. It's a weird mix of both of them, but it seems like there's a lot of anger behind that character, because he's not great. He's awful. So where did the plot go from here? The plot kind of, Sentinel and Optimus Prime are the primary focus of this episode, along with, Sari off doing her own little thing that has no real connection to the sort of Masterson plot that's going on, really. But Sentinel Prime continues to be just kind of a bad person. Well, not necessarily a bad person, but very arrogant, very talking down to Optimus Prime, talking down to organics. It's just basically the same character he was in the last episode. And this episode was largely not really any sort of a redeeming episode, but it was more where Optimus Prime sort of proved himself in the eyes of Sentinel Prime, because when Henry Masterson stole Sentinel Prime's body, it was up to Optimus Prime to basically find the body, defeat the bad guy, do this and that, right? And so kind of at the very end, Sentinel displayed a bit of a gratitude, but like super grudging gratitude. He's all like, I even forget what he said, but he said thank you, and then they shook hands, and it was just kind of like nothing really got resolved, but you can see where they're going with this. Like, Optimus Prime really has to try and prove himself. He actually had a really hilarious scene. I thought it was hilarious, but Sentinel Prime was talking down to him, and Sentinel got the last word, and then Optimus is walking off and like muttering to himself. He's like, oh, I should have called him something, something insulting Prime. He's like, yeah, that's what I should have said. And I'm all like,
bloated gas bag Prime.
Bloated.
Or something like that.
You have such a good memory. Bloated gas bag Prime or something like that. And he's like, yeah, that's what I should have said. And it's like, Optimus, that's pathetic. Like, oh man, this poor guy. He's not the Optimus we grew up with, guys, but he's adorable. So that plot kind of got resolved like really easily. Henry Masterson, of course, gets defeated, goes to jail. Actually, no, wait, sorry. He doesn't go to jail. In a weird sort of twist, not Professor, but Captain Fanzone was about to arrest Henry Masterson, and then Powell showed up and was like, unhand my employee, what are you gonna charge him for? This, and this. He's like, oh, like, he was on a Sumdac ship that, like, you can't charge him with property damage, and he was fighting alien robots, and since when do robots have rights? And also, this battle took place in international waters, so take it up with the Canadians. And I'm just like, is that legal? Like, this guy still committed crimes, right? Like, he still was in prison before.
It's all technicalities. That's really all it is.
Yeah, like,
it's just legal loopholes.
Well, it seemed like I keep wanting to call him Professor Fanzone. Captain Fanzone, not Professor. It seemed like he let this guy go way too easily. It's like, surely there should have been some due process. I don't know. Due process doesn't exist in kids shows, I've noticed. So that basically wrapped up that plot line, and then there was a secondary plot line with Sari and Bulkhead and Bumblebee, where they were basically trying to make her feel welcome, feel at home, and of course, because she's a human and they're robots, they both have kind of different needs, so they keep like bungling it up and trying to make her feel better, but making her feel kind of worse. And it basically culminated in Sari locking herself in her room. And then Prowl making the only appearance in the episode, just kind of like Bulkhead and Bumblebee are waiting outside of Sari's room and like maybe like wanting to knock and stuff like that. And then Prowl just comes up and he's like, imparting some wisdom. He's like, she will tell you what she needs. And then he just walks away, and I'm just like, cool. He's Prowl is Prowl. Prowl continues to be, the voice of reason. And sure enough, they're just kind of like, they go and talk to Sari, and they're like, what do you need? And then she sort of has a bit of a breakdown and starts crying over the whole state of affairs, getting kicked out of her home, not really knowing if she is actually Isaac Sumdac's daughter. Just kind of, it's a lot for a 9-year-old, and I feel like they handled it pretty well. She didn't really hold any, or do any tantrums or anything like that, but she was it's a lot to take in and stuff like that, so I'm kind of interested to see where her character goes from here, because it seems like she's becoming less of a brat and more of a character that you can kind of relate to. So that was kind of the episode, guys. Not a whole lot of substantial material to talk about. It was a Headmasters episode and a Searching for a Body episode. Like, hopefully, like, I know there's 3 seasons. I'm really hoping this is the last time we have to deal with this. I don't know. I literally got nothing to talk about, guys, so I'm just gonna sign off right here. Actually, if you want some like good laughs, probably watch this episode, but otherwise it's kind of a filler. It's unless Henry Masterson just happens to be Megatron in disguise later on, you can probably skip this episode. So
they might bring him back and do like big, because it sounds like what they're wanting to do is like a bigger plot line with Sumdac Industries, like going to more like military contracts or like pretty much destroying everything that Isaac Sumdac really stood for.
Yeah, that's true. The reason Henry Masterson was actually hired was for basically, military-style robot fighting machines. So it definitely seems like Sumdac Industries is taking a turn for the worst. And since Sari has no legal grounds with which to fight this, and Professor Sumdac is in the hands of the Decepticons, I wonder almost if Sumdac Industries is going to become like a third sort of villain in this plot line. But time will tell, guys. Time will tell. So with that, signing off. Enjoy yourselves. Have a great day. Take it easy. Bye.